So, what impact is the conflict having on people living in Ukraine and around the world? We're joined now by journalist and researcher Olga Tokariuk, who's based in Ukraine, and Natalia Ravlyuk, who runs the British-Ukrainian Aid Group in London. Morning to both of you. Olga, if I can just come to you first. I'm interested to know how you felt listening to President Putin speak yesterday. What did you think about what he said about the Ukrainian people?
Yes, well, the main feeling that I and a lot of Ukrainians had when listening to Putin's speech was not fear, but anger. Anger at the fact that he basically said that Ukraine doesn't have a right to exist as an independent state, that it's an artificially created country. And he expressed a lot of grievances about Ukraine's current course, about the reforms that have been going on here, such as decommunization and other reforms. He made a lot of threats that were not even veiled, like somehow that he's ready, or Russia is ready to punish Ukraine, or if the Ukrainian government does not do what Russia wants, there could be another escalation. So listening to it from Ukraine, of course, it filled people with anger, because basically we feel all threatened. Our very existence is under threat now, but it also filled people with determination and courage, and somehow, resolve to resist and to fight.
And Olga, I know we're not saying exactly where you are in Ukraine, but tell me, what's the atmosphere like where you are?
Well, the atmosphere is tense. Everybody's talking about the recent developments, and every day the developments seem more worrying. Several Ukrainian soldiers have been killed on the front line in the recent days. Another one was killed yesterday. Also, civilians were killed in this latest shelling by the Russian forces, artillery shelling. Some people, I know that some people from the eastern Ukraine, from those territories that are now under shelling, they've been leaving their cities and villages and heading west towards other regions of Ukraine where the situation is more calm. But the problem is that we don't know what could be Putin's next target. Yesterday in Mariupol, in the port city on the Azov Sea in Donetsk region, there was quite a big pro-Ukrainian rally. People took to the streets with Ukrainian flags. This city, as well as Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine, but also Kyiv, could become Russia's next target. So, people are preparing in the ways they can. There are evacuation drills conducted at schools. Parents are giving to their children badges and stickers with the contacts, their contacts, and medical information such as blood type in case there is a strike. So it's a very precarious and I would say horrific reality a lot of Ukrainians are living in these days.
So, Natalia, I know you just listening there to what Olga was saying. What's it like for you, Natalia, to be a Ukrainian living in the UK, and what's it like for other Ukrainians who are here watching what's going on at the moment?
Good morning, everybody. We are very we don't feel scared. We are very feeling angry, as Olga said, because everyone is worried what's going to happen next. It's very uncertain. We are angry because we've been gifted to Putin 8 more years. He started the war back in 2014. He was doing the same things what he's done now. And what the Russian soldiers there are fighting for at the front line. Ukrainians, they're defending their land. And what the Russians fighting for? Why they're destroying our country and different countries. So Ukrainians, they do feel angry. They are ready to support Ukrainians all the way in this war. And worried about family, obviously, about friends, about our country as a whole.
And Natalia, tell us about some of the work that you've been able to do to try and help people who are in Ukraine at the moment. What can you do to help?
We are trying to launch the appeal for humanitarian aid. We are trying to raise money for medical kits, for everything the soldier will probably need, for the people who possibly will need to evacuate and leave their houses. We are every single week on the streets of London trying to say maybe this is the time to open up Putin's pockets and impose the strongest sanctions ever on their assets in UK, properties, newspapers. They do have a lot of money in UK banks.
And Olga, just listening to what Natalia is saying there, what are the things that you need help with at the moment, and the people that you know, what do you need?
Yes, well, we in Ukraine are very grateful and appreciate the UK's support in providing defensive assistance to Ukraine, also financial assistance, because the Ukrainian economy has been hit really hard by this latest escalation by Russia. Ukrainian economy has been losing between $2 and $3 billion monthly, according to Ukraine's president's office. But of course, more needs to be done, more sanctions on Russia, more support to Ukraine. Support can also come from ordinary citizens who can donate to Ukrainian charities that support, for example, children who are affected by war and have psychological problems. There are also charities who support internally displaced people. We have more than 1.5 million internally displaced people who had to leave their houses in Crimea, in the occupied Donetsk and Luhansk because of Russian aggression. So there is a range of options how you can support Ukraine, how your government and how your citizens can support Ukraine. But of course, also demonstrations, as Natalia said, rallies, taking to the streets to show solidarity with Ukraine and to protest against Russia's aggressive actions. That's also a very strong sign of support.
Olga Tokariuk and Natalia Ravlyuk, thank you both very much indeed.